Welcome to this mod spotlight on Snowrunner on PS5 with me, MrSealyp. So in the second mod spotlight, I'm going to be looking at Frog's Titanious Maximus. I want to look at more of a pickup, I guess. Again, what I might do in the next one, I might look at a bigger sort of lorry truck type thing. But as far as pickup goes, it starts off fairly standard. This is 852.3 megabytes, it says in the mod hub on console. It's by TNB_XO Froggy, and we are on Yukon, because what I thought I'd do is kill two birds with one stone. To have a look at different terrain with water, mud, and hopefully some snow. I've still got 2 watchtowers to unlock on here. So what I thought we'd do, we'll look at the options available on this particular mod, and then we'll take it out and I'll drive out and try and get one of my watchtowers done, and we'll go through a bit of different terrain and see what we think. Now, you will find it under Truck Store once you've got it installed. Again, it depends. All the mods are highlighted with the blue strip across the top right hand corner that say mod. On mine, on the first bit of menu, it's just there, Frog's Titanious Maximus. It is a scout vehicle, 52,029 for the base vehicle. Now, this is on my regular gameplay as well, so there's not loads of money in the top right hand corner, just what I'm kind of off to and up to at the moment. So as far as customizing, what can we do? Engine, we got the options of a stock engine, which is what you start with, steel stock or a super stock. They're all 150, so I went for the super stock. Why not? Gearbox, we have got stock or off-road. Again, I think the... Oh, that's weird. It's not letting me do anything with it. Anyway, suspension. We've got stock, which is what's on the moment. There's lifted, stock toe, which raises the back section, which is a little bit harder to see. We've got lifted toe, which is both, crawler, which I went for, and then you got flexi boy. I went for crawler. It was a little bit higher suspension. Again, could be a blessing and a curse if you go too high, but that's what I've gone for. Then tyres, we've only got off-road. There are no other options. And what we'll try to do is go across and up a little bit so we can have a look at the tyres a bit better. There we go. So we've got 42s and up to 47s, I think it is on this. So we've got the options of bloggers, Maxis Rockzilla, Pitbulls, Toyo OC, Trail Grapplers, used Treps, and then we've got the same selection through on 46s, Blogger, Maxis Rockzilla, Pitbulls, Toyo OC, Trail Grapplers, and then under 47s, the same bloggers. I went for the Maxis Rockzilla. Oh, I do like the blogger. A bit more kind of knobbly, a bit more chunky, but I went for that one. I think for the rim as well, because I like the rim on that one. Then we've got Pitbulls, Toyo OC, and Trail Grapplers. So I'm going to stick with the Maxis Rockzilla on 47s. Winch, stock, frame add-ons. Now this, I haven't done anything on this one yet. We've got a bumper add-on. Now I can't see what it does. I've looked and I can't quite tell. Hood openable. If you take that off, if I do that and then come out, I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's no hood. It's taken the hood off completely. So you can see the engine if you wanted to. I'm going to put it back on. So hood openable, we'll have that back on. We'll go for a roll bar, why not? Roof rack, we'll put it on again. It might be a little bit too top heavy, but we'll see. And then supplies, I think, goes in the rear. There we go. Then we go to rims, click on that. We've got the option of assault, which is what we're on at the moment. We've got TIS off-road, well, they're quite cool, aren't they? CK06, Genesis, Maverick, or SF002s. Oh wow, there's a real selection there, aren't there? I might go for those, you know. They look quite cool. Yep, we'll go for the TIS off-road. Then, colour schemes. We've got on stand at the moment. There's a few options we can go for. And again, it's scroll through until you find something you like. There's mixtures. Although I have found on these where it shows mixtures of colours, I haven't noticed. It seems to be a plain colour regardless what I do. I thought it might change more, but it doesn't seem to have done. So I think I end up going for... I was going to go for a green because I tend to quite a lot, but the colours don't quite match up with what's on there. So I'm going to go for that one there, the red. And then We've got option of bobbleheads, clown dude, beans, hula chick, China chick, or pickle Rick doesn't show up. I'm not quite sure why. I'm not going to put anything on. Accessories, we've got a selection of the usual, but one thing I will say, they're blurred. So I don't know if that's a problem with the mod. It may need an update or something like that. But they're blurred, and then I don't think there's any exterior customization on this one. So that's where we stand at the moment. Did I go for the race suspension? I thought I had. Let me just check my suspension. No, I'm still on stock. I didn't, did I? I meant to click on it. There we go. That's what we want. So now we have our raised suspension installed. Those are the options. Let's leave the garage and let's see how we get on with it. Lights. Handbrake off. So what I've done is skip the night. It will start to get lighter. Let's zoom out a little bit and let's see how we get on. Now this one, I don't think it's active suspension, but we'll double check. Oh no, we can on that. Change suspension mode. We can go up even further from there. So let's zoom in a bit. Change suspension mode. So whilst it doesn't say active, it is an active suspension. Wow, okay. Let's start off with it, I'll say lower. Low-ish. Let's get cracking. Where do I need to be heading to? That's the question. Seems fairly slow to get going. It's not the speediest on a regular, or on the gearbox we've got. It's a nice looking mod though. Now these aren't chained tyres, they're not studded, they're nothing like that, they're just off-road tyres, so I don't know how we're going to get on snow and ice with this. Does sound good, looks cool. Suspension travels nice. Oh, tell what I didn't check on the last mod as well, on the first one, was the horn. I have removed the horn. I'm not going to show you it on this one because I'll get demonetised. Marvellous. Do seem to have some graphics problems. Doesn't seem to be rendering as quickly as I'd hoped it would. Right, let's check the map, see where we're heading. I need to be heading out this direction to do one of these watchtowers. Question is, can I cut across and get through water maybe? Well, I suppose the best way to find out is just have a go, isn't it? I was worried because it sits quite high in the suspension anyway that it would have a tendency to want to roll, but at the moment not the best route through, is it really? I'm not sure how deep the water's going to be here, so let's give it a little bit of a go with the wading. Looks like we've got a shallower section over here, so we'll try that. But we can raise it again. There was no option for snorkel, was there? But at the moment, we seem pretty good. So wading depth is okay, but again, if I want to, I can just knock that up. Doesn't take up too much, but it does go up a little bit higher. So wading's pretty good. And it has got a very narrow wheel track. So like I say, that was one of my concerns. It was going to tip, but we haven't really gone over anything too steep or too badly angled at the moment. But it's a bit more mud. Seems to be coping with that fine. It's the snow I'm interested in. Oh, that's... what have we got there? Is that a pipeline? Looks like it. Pretty good so far. Hasn't got a particularly large fuel tank, that's something else to point out. Only 98 litres, although it's not getting through it too quickly. Now obviously, testing on a test map, I could do a little bit more of the rock crawling. It was a kind of toss-up between the two, whether or not to do more on a test track or more on a, like I said in the previous one, a more of a real-world environment. So you can kind of see it's all well and good going over rocks and boulders that have been put out for that very reason, to test a vehicle, and then finding when you get it out onto a proper map for all intents and purposes, you don't have problems with it. So I thought for this one, again, it's more of a kind of test period in that I'll try it a few different ways around, we'll see how we get on. Do I want to go through the middle of that? Let's go over these rocks and see what happens. Right, let's check the map again for routes. I'm just very nervous about plunging straight through the middle, so let's see if we can find a route across. Let's go up over this and see how it does. I haven't had to go into low range yet at all. This has all-wheel drive and diff lock permanently on. Yeah, it's being forced down that route. It doesn't like that rock for some reason. Let's see if we can go that side of it, shall we? There we go, it's a bit better. I don't know if there is a good route through there. Some rocks over that way. Again, quite a steep angle. Hasn't seemed to want to roll. Ah, right. Stick it in high. We get a bit of a boost in power. Let's stick it in the crosshair, shall we? Oh, no problem there. Let's get over a few more rocks and see how we get on. What I might do if we don't get to too much snow on this, I may well drop over across to Lake Cove or one of the others, so we can check out a bit of snow and see how it gets on. We should be getting up to some. Depends how in the way the pipeline is. There, as you can see from this angle now with the light out, not bad looking, not that. Oh, that's a bit deeper. Still going though. Inside, how we're looking. Camouflage dash. Visibility's fairly limited. It's quite a narrow windscreen, I guess, from the angle you're sitting at. Slightly concerned about my graphics at the moment. Doesn't normally take that long to render in when you get that close to stuff. Right, so let's check the map again. Where are we? really want to be heading up that way. I wonder if I can just tonk it straight up the hill. What do you reckon? Can I get through the trees there? Potentially through there. Let's have a look, shall we? See how it does in a bit of a hill climb. Lights don't seem to make too much of a difference. Alright, now we've got a bit of snow. Let's see how we get on here, shall we? Cut through there. Probably is not the best route to go through, but it does put it through its paces a little bit. Got that spine there. Try not to roll over. Still not. Snow's not that deep. Haven't encountered any ice yet. Oh, now this is going to be a little bit trickier because we're going to go laterally across a steep slope. Okay. So tilt, not bad. I have to say, not bad at all. Now again, it's almost impossible when you're doing a sort of mod review, mod spotlight, to be able to cover every single piece of terrain there is across the game, across all the different maps available. Is this, like any other vehicle, going to get caught out somewhere? Of course it is. Depends how you drive it. Will it get bogged down? I would say probably. And are you going to use a winch at times? Again, I would say probably. What I do want to check though is the winch distance on it. Let's click on that. Yes, this is another one where the winch distance is ridiculously long. So look at the amount of winch points that have come up a long, long way off from the vehicle. Which is great because, you know, you often get that situation where you do get stuck and there's no winch point. But then with the winch that far off in the distance, it almost gets a bit like, you know, I suppose using any kind of mod might be considered a bit cheaty, mightn't it? So, again, it depends how you feel about it. We haven't really encountered any deep snow. Let's put it on the high one and give it a bit of a... Doesn't like that. Needs to be moving a bit faster before we can get onto that. Give it a bit of a stamp down on the whoosh pedal. Whoa, yeah. That's where you're going to get into trouble. Yeah, and still, as of yet, I haven't put it in... I haven't put it in low range yet, have I? Did I do it going over the rocks earlier? It's another very cool mod. I'm still trying to find a bit of deeper snow, see how it performs through deeper stuff. I think Lake Cove is one of the ones that you really do get caught out quite a bit in the deeper stuff. Especially the powdery. It doesn't seem too powdery here, there. Got a little bit, but it's not quite the same as it. No, it does seem quite compacted up here. Right, bear with me a minute. Let's whiz over to Lake Cove and have a see what it's like on some of the deeper stuff. But as it goes, so far, very capable. Nice options. I would say the megabyte requirement is quite high. When I read that on there, 852.3 megabytes. I mean, it's a clearly defined mod, but that seems very high compared to a lot of the other ones I've been looking at and downloading. But seems to be doing all right. Before moving on, something worth pointing out is I went to refuel, and if I go up and then to refuel, we've got quite a few options here. If you look on the top of the refuel section, the source, the bumper add-on that I said I wasn't sure, it didn't seem to do anything, 5,000 litres of fuel. And if I scroll across L1 or R1, the supplies add-on was also 5,000 litres, the roof rack 5,000, the roll bar 5,000, and back again. We have no shortage of fuel on this vehicle. I don't know where it's hiding it all. So what I'm going to do now is, let's check repair and see if that's the same. Yeah, bumper add-on, supplies, roof rack, roll bar. This thing, you're not going to have to worry. It's got everything you could possibly need. Okay then, so for the last part of the mod spotlight / review, we're back over on Lake Coved, simply because I want to check out the deep snow and the ice. One thing I have found, I opened up the last 2 watchtowers over on the Yukon flooded, I say flooded plains, flooded hills, I always get them wrong. But stick it into high, this thing storms along. As long as you don't get too bogged down, it makes really light work of pretty much anything. I'm just curious to see, because these aren't chained or studded tyres, how well it's going to cope with the ice. But so far, everything I've chucked at it, it hasn't had a problem. So let's give it some beans. I want to see as well that kind of test if we have any issues. Let's sling it left and right. It's not sliding, so I'm taking it from that. I mean, when you choose the tyres, it does say excellent on all of them, but it doesn't hurt to have a quick check, does it? And how are we going to fare with regard to suspension damage and stuff if we go honking across these? Pretty good. We are going to get some damage at some point, I would imagine. But as I already showed you, the fact we've got fuel and we've got repair points in the roof bar, the roof box, the bumper, the, you know, everywhere, 5,000 of each of everything. You're not going to have to worry about breaking anything. But let's see about scooting across the ice where it breaks. Again, going this sort of speed shouldn't be a problem either. I say, it doesn't seem to be going that fast, but let's knock it down and knock it up. Yep, pretty good. Let's see if we can find a bit of deeper snow. And that'll be it. Like I say, there are so many other things that could be tested and maybe should be tested, and it's difficult to test them in every single environment with every permutation of what could happen. But for a bit of mud, a bit of water, a bit of wading, hill climb, it has coped with everything. Doesn't seem to be having too much trouble in the deeper powdery stuff. Yeah, really impressed over these icy patches too. This gripping, no problem. Let's take it out over here and see what happens. I mean, in all honesty, just enjoying driving it around. Yeah, it's not getting too bogged down. Try some of this stuff. Ah, this is what I was looking for. Still going though. I wonder. A little bit more wheel spin. It's not stalling though. So, like with most things then, in this really thick, deep, claggy stuff, it does get bogged down, but not to a point where it stops. It is still moving. Very nice indeed. So there we go. That's Frog's Titanious Maximus by TNB_XO Froggy. Another very nice mod and worth a look if you haven't already. Hope you found this useful and informative in some way, shape or form. If you have, give us a like. If you don't subscribe yet, please do. If you want to leave a comment, feel free. And if you want to share this video, then please be my guest. Whatever you should choose to do. Thanks for watching.